Steve Park burst onto the scene chasing checkered flags on the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Tour. He broke out in 1995, winning 7 of the 21 races and missing out on the championship by only 3 points. The following season saw him back up his success by winning 5 more races and again narrowly missing out on the championship, this time by only 12 points. He caught the eye of many, including Dale Earnhardt, who helped translate Park's success into an opportunity of a lifetime. The 1997 season saw Park take over Earnhardt's number 3 Busch Grand National Series ride, now sponsored by AC Delco. Park saw some early growing pains over the season's first 8 races, as he found himself sitting a disappointing 17th in the series standings. 2 races later, he found victory lane for the first time, winning at Nashville. He backed that up with consecutive second-place finishes at Talladega and Loudon respectively. He suddenly found himself 5th in points and in contention for the Grand National Series crown. Over his final 16 races that season, he picked up 2 more victories, the first at Michigan and the second at Richmond. He earned 13 top 10s over those 16 races, including 8 of which in the top 5. His consistency shined through, as his only non-top 10 finishes during that stretch were a 13th at South Boston, a 15th at Gateway, and a 12th in the finale at Homestead. He finished 3rd in the point standings, 301 back of series champion Randy LaJoie. Earnhardt moved Park up to the Winston Cup Series for the 1998 season, as the anticipation was high for Park's assumed instant success on the highest level. Just as his career started with Earnhardt in the Busch Series, it seemed to be more of the same for Park at the Cup level. He finished 41st in the Daytona 500 and backed that up with a 31st at Rockingham, while failing to qualify for the inaugural Cup Series event in Las Vegas. This time, unfortunately, Park could not quickly recover from the slow start.
During a Friday practice session for the Prime Star 500 at Atlanta Motor Speedway, something in Park's car appeared to break as his car slammed into the outside wall. He made contact with the wall 2 more times before sliding through the wet infield and slamming into the pit wall, finally coming to a rest on pit road. Park was in his car for almost 15 minutes while the safety workers attended to his injuries. He was airlifted to a local hospital and diagnosed with fractures of the right thigh, left shoulder blade, and collarbone, as well as 2 broken teeth. Phil Parsons attempted to qualify the car during first-round qualifying, but the backup wasn't fast enough off the truck. Mike Wallace was scheduled to attempt to put the number 1 car in the field on Saturday, but qualifying was rained out, sending the team home. Ricky Craven finished 34th at Atlanta, and more bad luck struck the driver. The week after the race, it was announced that he could be out as long as 3 months after being diagnosed with post-concussion syndrome stemming from his 1997 practice crash at Texas. He was experiencing balance issues, but said he felt ready to go after missing those 2 races in '97. Looking back, obviously it affected my performance more than I realized, Craven said. The 2 drivers' injuries left Rick Hendrick and Dale Earnhardt looking for substitutes for an unknown amount of time. Both chose to go the championship route, as Hendrick pegged defending Busch Series champion Randy LaJoie, while Earnhardt pegged his Craftsman Truck Series driver Ron Hornaday Jr., a former champion, to take over for Park. Hornaday failed to qualify for the Trans-South Financial 400 at Darlington in his only attempt, before handing over the opportunity as the Truck Series kicked into high gear. Darrell Waltrip took over the number 1 Pennzoil ride.
Craven returned to the Winston Cup Series in July for the 17th stop of the season. He shocked the field by putting the number 50 car on the pole for the race. He eventually finished 29th, but showed that injuries would not slow him down. 2 weeks later, Park returned with a solid 18th place finish in the Brickyard 400. The injury seemed to slow both drivers' growth that season, as each struggled, with Craven eventually parting ways with Hendrick. He drove 3.5 races in the number 36 Skittles car, posting a best finish of 25th. 1999 looked hopeful as a new chapter for both drivers, as each hoped to put their struggles in the rearview mirror. Craven took over the number 58 Hollywood Video Ford for Scott Barber, while Park looked to build off his second-half struggles from 1998. Craven lasted 13 races in the new operation, leaving Dover a disappointing 41st in the points. He was left without a ride for the next few races. He eventually linked up to drive the number 50 Midwest Transit Chevrolet, posting a season-best 13th at New Hampshire. He finished the season 41st in points, as his career looked to slowly be on the downward path. Park once again took a little bit longer to find success as he found himself 30th in the Cup Series standings after 17 of the 34 races. He did show signs of life during those tough times, including leading 84 laps in the Coca-Cola 600 before issues relegated him to a 42nd place finish. He also picked up a 6th place finish at Michigan. Park flipped a switch in the second half of the season, picking up 16 top 20 finishes over the final 17 races. This included 4 top 10s. His strong second half surge helped him climb to 14th in the final standings. 2000 proved to be the complete opposites in terms of the two drivers' careers. Craven made 16 starts in the number 50 car, with a best finish of 15th coming at Rockingham in the fall. He also failed to qualify for 8 races. He finished 44th in points as he looked for a new ride for the 2001 season. Park built off his comeback season, notching best in almost every category. He picked up his first career Winston Cup win in his home state of New York in August when he tamed the twists and turns of Watkins Glen. He earned his first 6 top 5s of his career and almost tripled the amount of top 10s he had, ending the season with 13. Park also captured the pole twice. He finished the season 11th in the standings with a full swing of momentum heading into the 2001 season.
Craven found a new home for 2001, taking over the number 32 Tide ride for Cal Wells as a teammate to Andy Houston. Craven finished 23rd in the Daytona 500 and surprised the entire circuit with an impressive 5th place finish at Rockingham the following week. He peppered in solid runs throughout the first part of the season, including a 4th at Dover and a 9th in the Brickyard 400. 2 weeks later, Craven won the pole at Michigan and finished 2nd. At this point, it seemed to show that Craven had finally put the shadows of his injury behind him, and he looked to help build the number 32 team into a consistent threat. The 2001 Old Dominion 500 at Martinsville proved to be that moment for Craven. He qualified 6th and was a contender for the win the entire day before outdueling former series champion Dale Jarrett to finally pick up the elusive first win in his Winston Cup career. It may not have been the path Craven envisioned to the peak of the Winston Cup world, but he finally made it. He clawed his way back into being viewed as a talented driver everyone once knew. He finished 8th 2 weeks later at Phoenix, ending the season 21st in points, only 2 spots behind his career best of 19th in 1997. Steve Park, on the other hand, was dealt another insurmountable blow when car owner Dale Earnhardt passed away on the final lap of the 2001 Daytona 500. The 3-car team carried on to Rockingham the following weekend without its legendary leader. Park gave the entire racing world a heavy dose of happiness by holding off a hard charge by Bobby Labonte to win the race. He dominated the event, leading 167 laps, and capped off his win with an emotional tribute to his fallen owner and an enormous celebration and remembrance of life in Victory Lane. Park looked to finally have his career back on track as he continued to post solid runs, highlighted by not 1, not 2, but 3 second-place finishes. He left the Bristol night race in August sitting 10th in points, but once again Park's career took yet another derailment. While racing in the Busch series at Darlington, a freak incident occurred while the field was under yellow. Park's car veered to the left as the lap car of Larry Foyt was trying to catch the front of the field, and Foyt's car slammed into the door of Park's. It took safety workers almost 30 minutes to cut the roof off Park's car, and he was transported to a local hospital. Park suffered a bruised collarbone and a concussion in the incident. He had trouble standing up and was kept an additional day in the hospital. Kenny Wallace subbed for Park in the number 1 car at Darlington. The injuries brought Park's impressive season to an abrupt halt as he missed the remainder of the season as well as the first 4 races of the following season. Ironically, his return to the Cup Series came at Darlington. He qualified 4th and led 19 laps but finished 39th.
Craven started that 2002 season off strong, earning 2 poles and 2 fifth-place finishes over the first 5 races. A few weeks later, he returned to the spot of his first Winston Cup win by leading 40 laps at Martinsville before finishing 30th. Although Craven never found victory lane that season, he finished a career-best 15th in the Winston Cup standings, highlighted by 9 top 10 finishes. Park experienced another lost season due to his injuries, and it didn't come without another scare as Park went for an incredibly wild ride at Pocono. Luckily this time, Park walked away from the crash unharmed and returned the following weekend. He left Loudon a few weeks later, sitting a disappointing 38th in points with only 1 top 10 finish to his name. A few solid runs, including a 6th at Talladega, helped him move to 33rd in the final standings. Craven continued to prove that he had the talent to succeed as he started the 2003 season strong with a 4th place finish at Rockingham and earning his 2nd career Winston Cup victory, this time in dramatic fashion, edging Kurt Busch at the line in an incredible finish. This catapulted him to 5th in the standings after the first 5 races. Craven's success with the team slowly disappeared, but he still managed to earn 3 top 5s and 8 top 10s by the end of the season. 10 DNFs hindered Craven, and he finished 27th in points. Unfortunately, Park never regained his 2001 magic, as he parted ways with the number 1 Dale Earnhardt Incorporated team after the first 11 races. He sat 33rd in points. He moved over to Earnhardt's former team, Richard Childress Racing, and took over the number 30 America Online car. He put the number 30 car on the pole at Daytona, and his best finish of the season was a 5th at Michigan. The combination didn't pan out as Park finished 33rd in points yet again.
2004 proved to be a transitional season for both drivers. Craven's time with Cal Wells came to an end late in the season, with his final race coming at Loudon in a 17th place effort. At the time, Craven was 34th in points. He drove one more race that season in a number 11 Old Spice Chevrolet for Joe Gibbs at Talladega, where he finished 30th. Park, on the other hand, took his talents to the Craftsman Truck Series. Driving the number 62 Orleans Racing Dodge for Michael Gaughan, Park finished 9th in points, collecting 5 top 5s and 10 top 10s. Park also attempted and failed to qualify for the Brickyard 400, his only Cup Series attempt of the season. Craven took a page out of Park's book and joined him in the Truck Series for the 2005 season. He teamed up with Jack Roush to drive the number 99 Super Chips Ford, while Park entered his 2nd season in the number 62 truck. Both drivers showed scattered success throughout the season, with Park winning the 2nd race of the season for his first career victory in the series. Craven finished 3rd in that event. Craven later won his first race, ironically at the same spot he earned his first Cup Series victory, Martinsville. At the end of the season, Craven would wind up 14th in points, while Park finished 22nd after missing a handful of races. The following season saw Craven make his final start of his NASCAR career, a 39th place finish in the Busch Series race at Martinsville, driving the number 14 Family Dollar Dodge for Armando Fitz. Park peppered in a handful of starts over the Busch and Truck Series over the next several years, making his eventual final NASCAR start in a Cup Series race at Talladega in 2011 for Tommy Baldwin.
Hype deservingly followed both drivers throughout the start of their NASCAR careers. Both drivers backed it up with success in the Busch Grand National Series, earning their way to the Cup Series before unfortunate events surrounded and followed both drivers. Neither let this knock them out. They both continued to drive and eventually found victory lane in the Cup Series, even after being written off by so many. Their success and connection was unique. If you look at the stats of both drivers, it will never tell the full story. If you take the time to read in between the lines and look at all the great runs these two drivers had before, during, and after their injuries, that is where you see the talent. We might always be left to rightfully wonder, what could have Ricky Craven accomplished? Or what could have Steve Park accomplished after injuries robbed them of their prime? But that's not at all a slight on the things they did accomplish during their time behind the wheel.